Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our route learning video from North Berwick into Edinburgh this time. We're still driving the exact same service. This way we parked it at the end of part 1 where we drove in from Edinburgh. And we're now going to take a stopping service back out to Edinburgh Waverley. So we're going to hop in the cab with the Class 2021. As we're departing against a clear aspect, we'll remove the DRA. Reset the AWS. Self-test. Everything else is connected, so all we need to do now is our headlamps. So take tail lamps off, markers on, headlights today, and we're ready to go. Quick little capture of the Class 90 is pretty much exactly the same as the Mark III DVT. As you can see, we've got the light controls over here and the headlight control over there. The brake system is exactly the same. I'm actually going to put a little bit of brake on. Got the emergency brake plunger, the loco brake, cab aircon, sanding, parking brake, which we can see is released, brake overcharge, instrument lights, we can set those to dim just because we do go through some tunnels on the route. Cab lights we don't need today. We have the DSD, not the DSD, the driver guard call. Fire alarm, which is going to break things, and I'm going to press that ETS on off. Pan up, pan down, and we also have a generator readout for the engines. That's the main difference between this version and the other. I'm just checking our time for departure. This part of the route I actually find substantially more challenging to drive, as the Class 90, although it accelerates really well, doesn't brake all that well. So I'm just going to be doing my best with this one. On the way back, we are going to be calling at Drem. We're going to go. There we go. And I'm going to let the brake off. Yeah, it would help if I went forward. And I'm actually going to set the speed set bug at 5 miles an hour, because you can see we accelerate up to 50. But of course, this being mainline track, we need to wait for the end of the train to pass the speed board. I'm just going to slowly go up the hill. And as I say, we can actually sort of poke our head out the side window, but you can see we're barely past the point where we can accelerate. Once the end of the train leaves the platform, we can go up to 25. But until then, we're limited to 5. So I usually accelerate passing the next extension. And just due to the fact that, again, we're going on quite a steep slope, we can actually just set the speed bug straight up to 50. Just a very, very slow part of the drive, this. There we go. We'll put 50 in the box. You can hear the acceleration kicking in there. So yeah, that's just a pop-up that came through. This is a scenario made by Vulcan Productions, so they do quite like the pop-ups in scenarios. I'm doing a rattling along at 50. What I'll do is I'll then set the speed bug down at 25 as we near the curve back into Drem Station, but that'll be our next sort of marker to take. Since the DSD was isolated, so we'll de-isolate that in line with sort of normal mainline driving. So the main sort of things to note with this is this actually monitors the our engines only. Okay, so basically you can sort of go into the lower level of the ambers. You don't really want to. You want to stay within the green arcs. On a light train like this, I don't think we'll have any problems, but with the red, you don't go that far, basically. If you're revving that, if you're taking that much power out the engines, you're probably breaking something, and breaking things ain't good. The East Coast was closed over this weekend, just gone. I've got some scenarios relating to that I want to make, but it's just going to take me some time to get it done, as it always does. Actually I saw quite a nice run, which was a convoy of the locos that had been used to support the possession, moving from Miller Hill to Doncaster Decoy Yard. I'm going to hopefully try and make it as a scenario. It's got some stops in it, but hopefully we can sort of limit those through creative works with the scenario. But it was a convoy of like 3 GBRF 66s, including the Flying Dustbinman, and it also included one of the new Freightliner liveries as well. So it was my first time seeing the new Freightliner livery, and it just looks strange. I'm one who I don't have much of an opinion on how trains are painted, unless it's the West Midlands Trains livery, and that's just an abomination. But apart from that, it's not too bad. Because our train liveries aren't that bad, because they're usually quite distinctive. But the Freightliner livery changing, it now looks too much like Colas in my opinion, and my issue is that, well, as much as, yes, it doesn't look too similar, from 5 mile away, if you see a train going along a track, at the moment you can generally tell. Green and yellow, that's a Freightliner train, probably a 66. Bright red, that's probably a DB Cargo. Maroon and yellow, that's probably an NXCWS loco, but still DB Cargo. Orange and sort of yellow, that's Colas. Blue and yellow, that's GBRF. And with that orange and sort of weird colours that it now has, they're not as distinctive, is what I would say. I'm just getting the speed down nice and early. That's not too bad. That's the speedboard there. It's quite difficult to see in this light. So what I'm going to do is doing 25 miles an hour around this curve, and due to the fact that Drem's quite a short station, we actually want to stop with our cab just under the platform there, or just under the bridge, sorry. I am of course sipping my patented Monster Ultra during the recording, sorry. But yeah, so due to some things changing, I've got a lot more time for YouTube and streaming at the moment. So as much as I do still have things I need to get on with through the day, I'm hoping to be able to commit a lot more time and energy to YouTube in the near future. I'm hoping to split my energies between this route and the Wherry lines for route learning. So I want to get this covered. I want to do a full length run, northbound in probably a 91, southbound in an HST, and then do a stopper. So to probably do Chat Hill to Newcastle, and there we go. Do Chat Hill to Newcastle, and the other one will probably be Newcastle to Morpeth. So obviously I've covered this run now as well. Definitely sounds like a Voyager, that's all I can say. But we had the permission to pass the signal. Usually the errors on this route do tend to be down at the route, because it's quite an old route. I know it isn't JT's best work, but it fills a purpose, I guess, doesn't it? It does, it does. And I mean, the route we all use for Newcastle to York is still currently based around one of the first ever routes to be put into the game, so we can't exactly go complaining. I'm going to wait for the train to get on and then actually I won't accelerate, because this thing's braking potential is feeble. There we go, we're going to coast in now. Step 2. won't edit that platform at about 20. No faster than, maybe 15. Maybe even at lower. It's really quite a short platform. We want to put our cab just under the bridge. I've gone for the last train I was driving. I didn't record it, but I drove the Medway Valley line in a 466, and compared to this, they drive so differently. Braking a little too soon. Well, I did misjudge which bridge. I forget which bridge it was I was aiming to stop under. It being this one. Well. Okay, we'll release the doors. Get the cab light on. And it's a dram. Next up is going to be a Longniddry. So starting limit actually goes up to 105. I'm just going to whack the DR rater off. And we passed through green aspect on the way, and so that's fine. I'm going to set the limit to 105. I stopped that quite well, actually, I think. Yeah, that's actually stopped very perfectly. Okay. See, you'll notice when I stop, I do aim to put the train into neutral, and that just helps us get more comfortable on there. So we're due in there at 8:54. So we'll probably, yeah, we're running roughly 2 time at the moment. I'm using this just to judge my timetabling, because you can see we're due into, yeah, got Longniddry, Preston Pant, Wallyford, Musselburgh, Waverley. So what we are looking out for is a 110 board. Passing that 110 board, it's about 2.5 miles to go. As you can see, we do accelerate quite well, just the braking's horrendous. I'm not sure if that's due to the shortness of the formation or what, but the braking performance on this is a lot less than ideal. Unless we immediately go up into a hell of a braking. That's the 105 board. There's the 110. So the marker we're looking for next, or the visual we're looking for next, is the next concrete overbridge after the next signal. That's this signal, the next concrete bridge. We're going to break into step 3. We'll probably break a few seconds late, just to help us recover some time. And we'll knock that out, and what I'll do is I'll actually hit that to the max. I hit coasting power run. I hit the power into coast, sorry, and then I'm going to go step 3 or 4. So I'm just going to get that speed down to 45. Now whack the power out again and the brake out. So I'm using the Ash Clark patch for this, and I think the texture on this does feel different compared to the last time I've driven it. So I put the patch in between journeys, like that dirtying and that sort of tiredness. Yeah, there we go. Our train coming the other way, which looks to be another DVT. I do find it quite interesting that after these sets went out of use on the west coast, they found this use for them. I do quite like the short set, but solutions to problems, shall we say. I just love the way these Mark IIIs look. I think the interiors probably lets them down a little, but apart from that, they are solidly good. So starting a pull away limit from here. This is Longniddry, of course. So what are we looking like for time? Yeah, we're a little on the late side. He's got the doors open. So yeah, I know it was this station. They said there were issues at, so I'm glad that we didn't face those. Preston Pound's our next stop in about 3.79 miles. We're going to X-ray talk for 100 first. Okay, well, now that the DSD tripped, I'm just going to wait for that to come off. First, I'll go back forward. I'm just going to set full power in. Ooh, I think that ammeter to get a bit high, but amber band's fine. You can see I'm ragging it in full power off the blocks, and it's not getting above amber. So it's definitely not something that we're going to have an issue with during our drive today. So what we're looking for next is we're looking at the level crossing. It's at 2 1/3 miles to go, and at the signal after level crossing it's 1.5 miles to go. We then brake step 5 from the 125 board, so we'll brake just before that. Again, providing we see the 125 board, because obviously it's quite an early. Well, it's an early-ish in the day run in the autumn, so it's got a little bit of low light going on. Actually, I think I'm talking rubbish, but. Interesting. Why is that on? Yeah, here's the level crossing. That's 2 1/3 to go. Passing this. The next what we're looking for is going to be the signal. That's 1.5 miles. We're now keeping our eyes on the track ahead for that 125 board. There's the 125 board. There's step 5 of brake. I'm braking a little ahead of time, but especially with the with this train, I'm just not confident in its slowing abilities. So I'd rather just get myself nice under control, so we know there ain't going to be any issues. As you can see, we've covered a substantial distance. That's the station there, that overbridge. That's full service braking now. This is Preston Pan Station coming up. Now this one's yeah. I'm going to get us down to about 25, and then chop the power off, then bring it back. Chop the brake off, then bring it back in as we get somewhat slower. There we go. There's the brake off. So we're down at 15 now. Preston pans. Yeah, I'm now officially running too late for the game to be bothered to acknowledge anything I'm doing. There we go, that's the doors. I'll put the brake back to, or the reverser back to thingy. So yeah, our next stop is Waterford, about 1 3/4 miles away. I did say, every time I go to an external image whilst I'm moving, I disable the DSD, so hence you see that pop up in the top left corner. Oop. Slammer it open. And it's 75 miles an hour aiming for on this stretch, because it's such a short distance in train terms that you know, it's difficult to get up and down from much higher speed than that. Oh, that's a problem. There we go. Fixed it. So our braking points for this are going to be at the 95 post on the right hand curve, 1 and 1. Yep, that's fine. So Waterford is this stop here. So I'm going to, again, slam the brakes on. So I don't want to be going much higher braking application than that. Yeah, going in a bit hot here. I'm just going to hit the emergency brake. Definitely less than ideal driving performance on my part on that one. But unfortunately I did miss my markers on the approach there. Also interesting, I've got the game turned up to the max so we start floating objects. Perfect. Doors work here. And the main things I'm looking for. Okay, that's Waterford. Yeah, we're a minute down on time still, unfortunately. After Waterford, we're calling at Musselburgh. Musselburgh next. So my apologies, this is Musselburgh here. Yes, no, it's Waterford. So Musselburgh next. And after that, it's Edinburgh Waverley. Okay. Absolutely love Jenny livery. Very, very nice and regal. So, departing Waterford, starting speed limit. is 95 miles an hour. And what we're looking for, well, it's actually 110 through here, I believe, my apologies. But what we're looking for is a right-hand curve, and there should be a 95 post on that, which would be our next marker passing. I will do the next route running videos because current era. Just this one, I say the 90s. Just it was such a different solution to a problem, I guess. Especially for these days when these sort of top link express units or sets. Actually, units is the wrong thing to call them. I just get carried away. Yeah, these top link express sets, being used for such a mundane task. Looks like that right-hand curve coming up. There we go. So I'm going to slam it back to idle again. And I'm going to go step 1, 2, 3. Brake. Seems as though there we go, super elevation's kicking in now. I just find it's good to get the speed under control sooner rather than later. The turn off to the left there, that's the line towards Miller Hill, which is the freight yard near Edinburgh. It's now also got an EMU shed on site, which is where the new Class 385s live. And that red aspect is for them, not for us. Miller Hill is actually where that scenario originates from that I was talking about creating. It's just a weird lighting situation at the moment. There we go. So I'm going to put a bit more brake on, just get our speed down, because that is the station behind that overbridge there. Just after Waddyford, we're going to be calling at, Edinburgh Waverley only. So a 5-mile run between the two. Of course, I misjudged it again. It's just this thing doesn't slow down, as you can see, at slow speed. We're in an emergency brake application, and it's not working. There we go. Doors work again. Might be my route that works, eh? Class 90 is quite good fun to drive. I enjoy it as a train. I just think for this service it's very, I would use the term a unique choice. But for market Waverley is on the incorrect side, and also requires it to stop the DVT just inside the signal to complete the unload instruction. Okay. So, departing Musselburgh, our last stop is Edinburgh, and our starting point that we're going to accelerate towards is going to be 90. That was weird. So apparently the train wasn't actually in forward there, even though the lever was in the forward position. Delicate windscreen finish again, only with tepid water and detergent solution. Tepid's just, not a nice term in my opinion. Don't know why, but you just associate a word with a negative connotation. Yeah. That's tepid for me. It's like, a word like a word association, I would go with tepid mucus, which is just ugh. Right then. Yeah, this is our wonderful Class 90 set. God, we're getting a bit of stuttering approaching Edinburgh. Unfortunately, this does sometimes happen. But the yeah, so we've accelerated to 90. So we're going to let that build. I think it's just because the light's behind us mainly at the moment. Because of the way RWB Enhancer works, it can't quite comprehend what's going on at the moment. So we have got the wonderful Class 91 coming towards us with a Mark IV set. Class 91, the half sister of the Class 90. They are very similar in design. The Class 91 is just a bit different, which is quite cool though. They're built at the same place, Crew Works, by Brell, which is interesting because if you look at the depot plaque on the side of this, that is a brush traction depot plaque, and that would be Loughborough Depot. Great. Just great. Well, you're going to learn how to. You're going to see me reset an emergency brake application on the fly. I'm going to disable the DSD now. So the train that we're approaching here, I believe I mentioned on the way out as well. This is the train they use to electrify the East Coast main lines. So there's videos of it online of people actually running up and down the roof of that thing. And what they do is they'd be running up and down the roof, stringing up the wires between the stanchions as that thing crawled very slowly ahead. And yeah, and apparently once they were done with it, they just sort of left it, which I think is really sad. So as soon as the brakes release, we should be able to take power and move away again. Now where we go. So yes, on the left hand side that's the other line towards Miller Hill Depot, or Miller Hill Yard, or sectional sidings as it's formerly known. Over on the right hand side that is Joppa Strait, JOPPA. That is where a lot of the rail tours that go into Edinburgh are based from. That's where they sort of get set up and prepared. I believe that they've got the ability to load coal there as well. And it's sort of time, if you see on real-time trains, a train leaving Joppa Strait, it is either an empty sort of coach, something to do with the rail tour basically, which leads to some cool sightings. Over there, that's a 91 and some Mark IVs. This is now the start of Craig and Tinney Depot, which is the main depot for East Coast Express services in Scotland, and where a lot of the heavy maintenance happens on HSTs. Yep, over there, Edinburgh Depot. So Edinburgh Craig and Tinney Depot. Now passing the refuelling point for Craig and Tinney, we actually have a 95 over coming into force shortly, but we're not going to use that just because we don't want to be going too fast. It's about 0.86 of a mile until we have to slow down again. And there's a 67 Thunderbird standing by in the depot as well. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is add all the power now, set the speed set to 85. Just give it a bit of power. Flashing single aspect, we're going to break down to 70. And passing the 70 signal, we're going to brake for 40 miles an hour. There's the 85. Let's go idle power now. Speed nice under control. Again, it's better to be cautious than it is to be going a bit too quick. So I'm going to brake down now for 40. And then we want to enter the tunnel at 40, leave the end of the tunnel at about 20. So actually cross over here onto the right hand side. You can see it's a bit confusing, the lines, as you go into Edinburgh. They don't line up correctly, unfortunately. As you can see, there are much fewer services go east of Edinburgh than go west. Platform 5, which is going to be one of the platforms next to us in Edinburgh, has been extended since this route was created, and it's actually where the majority of again long distance East Coast services terminating at Edinburgh dive into. Dual ambers there. That 5 element doesn't apply to us. Now you can see another Class 90. The platform that Class 90 is on is actually the extended platform. And I believe it's been extended to the same length as the platform we're going into now. Platform number 4. Just due to the braking characteristics of this train, I do want to get slowed down a long time before we approach the buffers. So I'm just going to bring the speed down to a 5. So we're just really crawling in. You can hear this squeal on the of the door seals, I believe that is, and the suspension. Okay, welcome to Edinburgh, guys. Unfortunately, the doors aren't opening, even though we've stopped within the characteristics what it asked for. But yeah, thanks for watching today's video, guys. If you'd like, enjoy the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Until tomorrow, guys, it's bye for me. Let's shunt forward a little.